Hello everybody and welcome back to the 24th installment of the State by State Predictions series. Today we're looking at the 2020 Pennsylvania race between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. This is sure to be one of the most important swing states in this November election. It is Joe Biden's home state where he was born, facing off against Donald Trump, the incumbent president. And looking at the 2008 election results in the state of Pennsylvania, as always, Barack Obama won in the state of Pennsylvania and its 20 electoral votes in 2008 by a margin of over 10 points, a significant margin of victory in a state as crucial and as competitive as the state of Pennsylvania. He won by 620,000 votes, and compared to the national popular vote average, Pennsylvania swung about 1.54 points to the left of the national average. Now, as for 2012, Barack Obama won in 2012 in the state of Pennsylvania as well, however, by a much smaller margin over Mitt Romney. Practically, his lead over John McCain was cut in half, from 600,000 to 300,000, and from a 10-point margin of lead to around 5 points. And as for the versus national average, it only went about 0.91 points to the left of the national average. So as you can see, in an election that was overall a lot closer in 2012, Pennsylvania was one of the states that made it so. And then in 2016, the state of Pennsylvania flipped in favor of the Republican Party and for Donald Trump by a margin of just 44,000 votes, and 48.18% in favor of Donald Trump to 47.46% for Hillary Clinton. Extremely close margins in the state of Pennsylvania, but it did flip from 2008 and 2012 in favor of Donald Trump, and it swung about 2.09 points to the right of the national average. Remember, Donald Trump lost the popular vote by about 2 points, meaning that Pennsylvania was actually swinging pretty hard in the direction of the Republican Party from where it was 4, even 8 years prior. Now moving on to the 538 polling averages in Pennsylvania, Joe Biden has an 8.1 point advantage over Donald Trump, 50.1%, to Donald Trump's 42.0%. Remember, 538 does a great job of calculating all polls and weighing them based on polling accuracy and interpreted bias. And moving on to RCP polling averages, Biden is up +7 as things stand right now in the Real Clear Politics polling averages in the state of Pennsylvania, 48.7 to Donald Trump's 41.7. And as for the JHK forecast, the first of 3 forecasts that we can examine for the presidential election, Biden is up +7.4 over Donald Trump there, 51.9% to Donald Trump's 44.5%. And the second forecast we can take a look at, a much more conservative outlook, Biden only +5 in the state of Pennsylvania in the Our Progress forecast, 51.1% in his column to Donald Trump's 46.1% in the Our Progress forecast, Joe Biden +5. And finally, in the Economist forecast, Joe Biden +5.4 over Donald Trump. Now keep in mind, the Economist for popular vote only does it as a 2-party system. So if only 2 candidates appeared on the ballot, Joe Biden would hold 52.7% to 47.3% for Donald Trump in their model. And something new that I've added, the data consensus. So this is a broad consensus of all of the data you just saw combined and averaged out. Biden has a +6.6 point advantage in the state of Pennsylvania with 50.9% to Donald Trump's 44.3%. So the data is on Joe Biden's side. And the polls have now closed in the state of Pennsylvania. And let's get right into the prediction with our first key race alert. Our first key race alert out of the state of Pennsylvania, 9% of the vote is in the state of Pennsylvania, just 9% of precincts reporting, and Donald Trump has an early lead, 104,000 votes. This is a significant margin of lead, with most of the vote coming out of western Pennsylvania, more rural and Republican, more conservative areas within the state. Just 9% of precincts reporting, as mentioned previously. 20 crucial electoral votes are up for grabs in Pennsylvania, 20 crucial electoral votes that Joe Biden absolutely must win if he wants any shot at the presidency here tonight. However, he is down early as we await the results coming out of the more metropolitan Philadelphia and Pittsburgh areas. Race alert coming out of the state of Pennsylvania. We now have 44% of the vote in the crucial state of Pennsylvania. However, the margin of lead for Donald Trump has gotten a lot closer between Joe Biden and himself. Now just 29,000 votes. That is the edge over Joe Biden for the incumbent president 49.77% of the vote, to Joe Biden's 48.69%, as we are getting our first results out of the more urban and Democratic areas across the state. The fact that it is this close is not a good sign for the incumbent President Donald Trump. Joe Biden is expected to start taking a lead here in the coming hours. 70% of the vote is in Pennsylvania, and take a look at this. We have Joe Biden taking his first lead of the evening, and a marginal one at that, just 7,692 votes over Donald Trump. That is the margin of lead, with 70% of the vote in Pennsylvania. We still have 30% of the vote out there left to be counted. However, Joe Biden has taken his first lead within the state of the evening, 48.91% in his column, to Donald Trump's 48.73%. These are 20 electoral votes that Joe Biden must win here in his birth state. He absolutely has to flip this state back in his column from 2016 if he wants any reasonable path to the 270 mark. And out of the state of Pennsylvania, we now have 91% of precincts reporting, and Joe Biden has extended his lead to 75,000 votes over Donald Trump. The time is running out for the president to hold on to this state from 2016. As the hours tick on, it is looking more and more likely that this will be a Democratic flip in favor of Joe Biden, 49.36% in his column, to Donald Trump's 48.00%. A win here would be an extremely good sign for the Biden campaign, not just in the state of Pennsylvania, but across the entire Rust Belt in the states like Michigan, Wisconsin, possibly even in the states like Ohio and Iowa here tonight. Former Vice President Joe Biden is the projected winner in the state of Pennsylvania. He will carry the state's 20 electoral votes. This is a huge victory for his campaign. Here tonight, he wins in his home state, the state in which he was born. He carries 20 electoral votes out of the state of Pennsylvania. He had to win here tonight, and he has done so, winning with 50.84% of the vote to Donald Trump's 47.29%. A lot of the more urban and Democratic areas were the last votes to be counted, and thus Joe Biden has won with 216,000 votes, being the margin of victory over Donald Trump, despite trailing earlier on this evening. However, Joe Biden has won here in the state of Pennsylvania over Donald Trump. And looking at the county map, first let's take a look at the largest 8 counties across the state of Pennsylvania. Joe Biden won in 6 out of 8 of them en route to a victory here. He won in Philadelphia County, Allegheny County, Montgomery County, Bucks County, Delaware County, and Chester County, while Donald Trump only managed victories in Lancaster County as well as York County across the state of Pennsylvania. You take a look at that map there, a lot of red in the more rural and conservative areas that were the first to report their votes in here tonight, and thus that is why Donald Trump had such an early and significant lead at the time. However, looking at the 3 pivot counties, these are the 3 counties that went from Barack Obama in 2008 and 2012 in favor of Donald Trump in 2016. Donald Trump managed to hold on to 2 out of these 3 counties yet again in Luzerne County and in Northampton County, although by much lower and more competitive numbers, while Joe Biden was able to flip Erie County back in his favor here tonight, which had a significant effect on the final results. Now, as for the updated electoral map, Joe Biden now holds 111 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 144, with 283 electoral votes remaining up for grabs across the country. Joe Biden has now managed to win in the 2 crucial swing states of Pennsylvania and New Hampshire, also in the state of Virginia, which is less of a swing state at this point in political history. However, he has won in Virginia, while Donald Trump carried the crucial swing states of Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, and the state of Ohio. These 4 are states that the Donald Trump campaign was cautiously optimistic they could hold on to in this election cycle, and they have. Now, looking at the popular vote, Joe Biden regains his lead with 48.06% of the vote in his column to Donald Trump's 47.85%, a margin of just 84,000 votes across the country in favor of Joe Biden. Now, he is expected to win the popular vote no matter what happens in the Electoral College throughout this series, given that the last 3 elections have gone to the Democrats in the popular vote, and the polling numbers across the state or across the country nationwide had him up heading in to this election night. Now, one thing I wanted to clarify, which I've seen some comments in previous videos in this series discussing how they have popular vote totals that are a little bit off. Now, I am completely aware of this issue and I am sorry for it, but I did have to adjust a few of these electoral vote numbers across different states in order to make it a little bit more accurate historically and foreseeably in the future based on the projected turnout in different states. So that is probably why you have different numbers than I do as things stand right now in the U.S. popular vote. But Joe Biden does hold a lead right now. And that does it for today's video covering the 2020 Pennsylvania race between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. It's a crucial swing state in November, one that Joe Biden has to win if he wants any reasonable chance at winning the presidency. And thank you guys all so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe, as well as check out the other series going on this channel as we speak. Thank you all so much for watching, and tune in next time.